Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. It has been a couple days again. Life has been really chaotic and busy and stressful. But I'm always happy to come on here and spend some time with you guys. So thank you guys for being here. And yeah, how are you guys? Cannot believe summertime's almost over. We've been, school shopping and all that stuff. And it's depressing. I hate when the summer ends. It's just so depressing. Let me say hello to you guys. Then we are going to read through the third book in the series. This book, The Cell Next Door. I'm going to read to you. I'm going to try to get it read by 7:40. Melissa, I think, is live at 7:30. The very latest I can be on here is like 7:40. I have to go get the kids and also go support Melissa. So go get the kids. One kid, but So yeah. Let's see. Hey, MK. Hey, B Crumbs. Hey, Cray Cray. Adrian. Hey, Legendary. Hey, Melly Mel. Is my Bindi here? Let's see. Hey, Sherry P. Lisa. Shauna. Good to see you. Hey, Elisa. Alicia. Lisa. I mixed your names together. Elisa. Alicia and Lisa. There's beautiful Bindi. Hey, Nurse Kristen. He's doing okay. So we had our appointment, and I don't know, I might have told you guys on Jen's last night, but he has to have surgery on Thursday. So it is what it is. We have to deal with it, and hopefully it goes smoothly. But yeah, he's doing pretty good. Hey, Angie. Hey, Jennifer. MK, I danced to it too. Hey, Mayla's mom. Good to see you. I think I saw Jamie in here. Hey, Neat. There she is. We just went through 12 hours without power. Good to see you, Jamie. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing we did. We're going to read through the book with commentary. We're going to stop along the way, give our thoughts on some things. So I'm excited for that. So I think for me, I got to be honest, I wasn't sure why there was more than one book, right? When I first started, I was kind of like, why was it not all put in the first book, right? And I asked that, and thankfully Dylan and Jamie have been willing to answer any questions that I had. And I think it's because when telling the story, at least I know with this one, because I talked to Dylan some during the time of him writing this, I think it's because there were things that he left out or things, that he was remembering, things from questions people were asking. So I think that's why. But yeah, I know that was my initial thing. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what's in here. I have not peeked, went ahead of time. I do know one part where he actually mentions me, which we're going to pause there for a second and read through in the acknowledgements. So, hey, Fragile Like a Bomb. Hey, Woofy. 37 months. Oh, my God almighty, girl. I love you, and thank you. Thank you so much for being a member for 37 months. I love that picture. So, yeah, thank you, Shauna. Praying for you, too. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off because y'all ain't about to watch me stumble over my words on this one. And, yeah, let's get through it. Hopefully I'm not too scattered for all of you guys, and I think my comments aren't loading, though. Let's see here. That is a problem. What in the world? Can you guys hear me? Oh, my God. Of course, we're going to have trouble. My comments are not moving. Let me get the phone now and see if you guys can hear me. I do apologize, you guys. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, all right. I can't see the comments on the screen, but I'll just look at them on my phone, which is fun. Okay. So, acknowledgements. He says, first and foremost, I would like to give Jamie a shout out for helping me by typing, editing, and publishing this series. You have been my rock and my day one while we work through some struggles. You have been and continue to be my ride or die through all of this and more. You are very much appreciated. To Alex Allie Erickson, thank you for promoting the first 2 books in this series. Your abilities are limitless. It is people that have been through some shit that can change the world. Which I love that last part. That's so true, and that's really cool. But I wanted to pause there and say something to you guys. So I had never spoken to Dylan or Jamie until I had purchased the first book. When I did that, Jamie came in the chat, joined the conversation. I wasn't sure if it was actually her. And later they agreed to come on and answer questions and stuff like that. Dylan is in recovery, and because of that, I do encourage him to write books, and I think it's a great way to make an honest living. And I'm all for that, and I definitely support both of them in that. I think it's awesome. But also, I do understand why people write books. They write them to sell them. It's a job, right? So Dylan, when he came on, he had asked me, he's like, do you mind if I promote my book and tell people where to get it? And of course I was like, no, of course not. That's why you do interviews. When people come out with books, they'll do interviews for promotion, right? But I want to be clear on something as far as I go and where I stand. I never want to encourage you guys to buy something. I really just wanted to read it because I was interested in it. So, I just want to hang out with my friends, talk about things I'm interested in. If you do want to buy it, that's awesome. Of course, I'll share the links because it's the source of the material we're talking about. But I never want you guys to feel like I'm trying to sell something to you. And especially when we're talking about this stuff. Now, on my second channel, I do talk about makeup, skincare, all that stuff. And I'll let you know when something's good. And I might encourage some bad purchases there. But I want you guys to know that, that's not my purpose here. My purpose here is to talk about a case that I'm interested in with the people that I know and love, like-minded people. And, get more details that we didn't know before. And look here, this is the way I feel about it. I have really enjoyed talking to Jamie through the process. I think that she's an amazing person, and Dylan too. And I think that it's awesome that he has her to help. And I appreciate them coming on and answering stuff and all of that. But it's never my intention to come here to try to sell something. So I want to make that clear with you guys. But I know you know that, but just in case, you know what I mean? I think I wanted to make sure that was said. So yeah. Jamie, I give you stuff to buy on the second channel. Yeah, I mean, but yeah. Oh, I'm so glad Shaudra's here too. Jennifer, it's called Real Talk with Alex. I think the Nightbot just dropped it. The comments caught up. So I love to talk about all the things over there. I posted a cool video today of a cotton candy machine. I love snacks, makeup, nature, all the things. Also politics, consumerism, conspiracies. I mean, it's kind of a catch-all of a channel. And yeah, the Nightbot just dropped it. So, okay, let's continue. So he goes on to say, to all of my readers, thank you for buying these books and learning my story. I am really not a fan of writing. However, I do this for you. All my love enclosed, yours truly, Dylan Tallmen. The end of the last book, I enjoyed the way that ended. So now there is an introduction, and I think that we need to start with just chapter 1, because sometimes he starts off with the end. Yes, he did. So at the beginning of his books, he'll put a little bit of the last book at the beginning, I think, to kind of catch you up to where you're at in the story, right? So that kind of makes sense. But so this one, I'll just tell you the very end of where we left off in the last book. He says, the sergeant was running the phones early. This meant that she didn't have an officer to run day room. People would set and dial, so the phone didn't even make it to me. I was pissed. I just wanted the day to end. I was having an off day. The conversation Chris and I had was weighing heavily on me. How was he able to cope so well with everything that had happened? Why didn't he trick on Nicole? Was it out of fear, righteousness? Was it maybe because he knew he was screwed anyway, so why take her down with him? I had so many questions, but I was reluctant to know the part about his daughters. Did he kill them? Did she kill them? Was it someone else? How would I feel about him if I knew? Would I judge the man? I knocked on the wall and called Chris to the electrical outlet on the wall from the cell next door. I have to know, and I will not judge. Did you kill the girls? Yes or no? I asked him hesitantly. He went silent. The silence was thick in the air. It was a deafening silence. I should have cast myself in that grave that was dug for them. I decided to ask him the same question, but from a different angle. Did you help with the girls? I probed. He took a long, deep breath and seemed to hold it. Yes, I did, he admitted to me. Jezebel? I asked. Chris answered yes. I knew it. So this is where the part 3 starts. Now, I'm curious, I think that his plan is to go on and write more books. I think that I hope this wraps up like the Watts part, and we can go like write books about prison and other people you've met and life experiences. Someone who's been down the road of addiction and stuff. There's a lot to be learned with that, and a lot to talk about. So I wonder if that's the direction that this is going to go, if this is the last one. Okay, just one second, you guys. Just have to get a drink. Okay. Hey, Artemis. Hey, Tess. Hey, Meg. Hey, you guys coming in. Okay, let's get started. So the recreation yard at Dodge Correctional was very large. It was a big gravel track to run around. 3.5 times equals 1 mile. There is a baseball field and 3 basketball courts. There are also pull-up bars and some dip bars. Chris and I were both walking around the track. He was far ahead of me while I was talking to some people on our unit. It was hot outside, so most of us had our shirts off. I jogged ahead to catch up with Chris, and I noticed something was off with him. Most people couldn't read Chris the way I could. He was so level no matter what. However, spending 17 or more hours each day talking with him really helped me learn to understand him. Hey, Grandma Sherry. You good, bro? I asked Chris once I caught up and was walking beside him. His face was flushed and he continued to look down while clenching his jaw tightly. It's nothing really, he replied nonchalantly. What happened? I asked, knowing he was holding something back. Just some guy yelled some stuff out the window, he finally admitted as he looked over at the windows behind us. What did he say? He called me Daddy Killer, he told me. I had never heard that name before that day, so it took a minute before it clicked with me. Those windows that are open, we walk around that bend? I asked, pointing at the windows we would walk past after we walked around the track. I noticed there were a flock of birds flying past. I began to wish I was a bird so I could fly out of Dodge. As we passed the pull-up and dip bars, I told Chris to remain silent because I would take care of this. I can imagine that Chris would get many comments from other people in jail. There are people in jail who are parents themselves and they're being kept away from their kids. And, you see a man who had beautiful children, beautiful wife, a beautiful home, and a lot of debt and stuff, right? But nobody's perfect. All of our lives can be kind of messed up at sometimes. And he just throws it away. And I can imagine the hate that he might get. That's weird, Artemis. Sherry, thank you for being a member for 2 months. See, that's how it's done, I said. He just looked at me with raised eyebrows. Geez, man, was all he managed to say at that moment. Chris was in prison for the long haul. He was going to have to learn how to handle these situations, even more so than other inmates because of the attention attached to his name. After we went around the track without any more disturbances, the guard came over the loudspeaker to announce that rec was over. We were on the far end of the track, so we had to cut across the field to reach the gate quicker to go back inside. We walked slowly because our 40 minutes or less outside was precious to us. Curious, and put it in the chat. How do you guys feel about, do you want to know these things? Like, because I do. I think it's interesting. Like hearing about conversations that might have been had, certain things that might have taken place, walks around the rec yard where someone's screaming that he's a killer, that kind of thing. Are you guys curious to know that stuff? So on the way inside, this old, short, bald-headed CO told me to tuck my shirt in. I decided that I wasn't going to do it, so he kept yelling that order as we walked further away from him towards our unit. As we entered Unit 11, I was again told to tuck in my shirt, and I again refused. We were headed to our cells anyway. Dodge was so petty. Who tucks their t-shirt into some short-ass gym shorts? I went into my cell next door to Chris. There was nothing but a cot with a mattress, a pile of books, and a stack of paperwork. I had some canteen and a little bit of clothes that Chris had given me. It really sucked living the way I had to live because of my non-prisoner status. I heard a light tapping on the wall coming from Chris's cell, so I grabbed my chair and posted it up by the electrical outlet on the wall. This outlet was directly connected to the outlet on his wall in the adjacent cell. The walls were damp from the humidity. I appreciate you telling that guy off for me, Chris said. What he said was highly disrespectful, so no problem, I replied. What if we do see that guy again, he asked me. Then I will do like Jesus would do, I replied. And what would Jesus do? Chris asked, almost expecting my next response. He would slap him on one cheek and put his nose on the other cheek, I confirmed. I am certain Jesus said that way different, he laughed. Well, that's how I interpreted it as it is written. Let it be done. You know, I had thought all of the stuff was in the past until that guy yelled that. I remember my first 40 days in Dodge. I was all over the news. They had to move me into that back cell hall, and they kept me separated from everybody, he explained. Well, you graduated to the big hallway, and as long as I am in here, you're straight. You'll have assholes, but some solid people will embrace you. Also, a lot of bad characters will try to embrace you too, so it's better to stick to yourself sometimes, I informed him. I bet you his first 40 days was crazy in there. I have a question, sort of off topic. What was it like being a dad? Because I don't have kids, Dylan says he asked Chris. Chris responds with, it's great. You know, the best thing. You go about life for them. You get to buy them gifts and see the look on their faces you bring them cheer by something as simple as ice cream. Being a dad is a big responsibility, a great accomplishment overall, he expounded. Wow. Thank you, B-Crumbs, for being a member for 15 months. Wow. I wondered how he could kill them if he felt as he did. I know I never could, no matter how I felt about some woman. Yeah, perhaps one day I'll find that special someone that I can build a family with, or I just start knocking up hoes when I get out, I said. Yes and no. Yes to finding a special woman, but no to knocking up hoes. Chris corrected me. Okay. It is disturbing. That is disturbing, Rusty. I don't like that at all. You know, Chris, it's so great being a dad. I'm interested to hear it, though. Let me see what you guys said about that. Are you interested in those conversations, knowing about those instances? Hey, Haley. I find it interesting. Don't show CW smiling. So, Orbs Nightly, you make me think of something. The photo of Chris on my thumbnail is the newest photo of him from Wisconsin, the prison he's in now. He is in a tan t-shirt. Now, I did get a comment. Somebody was really angry with me, and they're like, stop putting Chris Watts shirtless on thumbnails. You're just adding to the hybristophilia, or however you say that, right? To the people obsessed with murderers. And I'm like, dude, he is not shirtless. He's literally wearing a shirt, but okay. So just so you guys know, he's got a shirt on. Just kind of blends in with his skin. If you zoom in, you can see the neckline of it. And that is the most recent photo of him. I find it interesting. Good. I do too, you guys. See, that's what I mean. I would be reading this, you know, no matter what. I'm truly interested in it. So it's just cool to be able to do it with you guys. Okay, so look, I am a BOSS, no less. So I fuck with bad bitches. I'll just say it. I informed him. He chuckled at this, but I was 70% serious. 70? You are a mess, and may the Lord rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ, Chris replied. And I laughed. Okay, Chris, because you should have the right to be praying at anybody, but okay. I can't argue when you bring Jesus into it, I said. Chris and I came from very different walks of life. However, we clicked like one spirit. That reminds me that I wrote a prayer. It's called Sweet Child of Mine, he said, and we've read this together, you guys. Wait, that's a song, I informed him before he read it to me. He said, I know, Guns N' Roses, but it's the name of this prayer. Check it out. The blessings of this life I have taken for granted. The miraculous I have deemed ordinary. The supernatural I have received as natural. The birth of my new life into my life I perceived as an everyday part of life. As he read, my mind wandered for a quick minute, thinking about the blessings he had in his 2 daughters and a baby on the way. He continued to read the prayer. These blessings grew up as a green olive tree in my house with a sparkle in their eye and a smile that would shine in the darkest room. Their energy would last for days on end, sometimes their questions too. They even picked out a book about a train just to hear me say, choo choo. My mind tried to wander again, but I continued to listen intently. Their kisses I thought would last forever, hugs that would melt my heart. Never in a million years did I think we would be apart. Oh, sweet child of mine. Those blessings are gone now, taken at the blink of an eye. I was a bit put off by how he could think that way if he killed his children. I continued to listen as he read the rest of his prayer. So interesting, Dylan was put off by some of this stuff. Because it's hard to even read some of it, honestly. I think to myself, what happened as I wonder about the cold night? It wasn't until you called me, O Lord, that out of a dead slumber I arose. When you touched me, you quickened me, making through concrete grow a rose. I know love now, love that I never knew before, love that I wish I could have shown because you dwell at my core. I was totally focused on his words while at the same time thinking about his children again. God Almighty. Those poor babies, man. My hope springs eternal because my hope is in you. I will see those blessings again because I have given my life to you. You are my eternal Father, a love that will stand the test of time. Oh, how I yearn for the day you say, welcome home, sweet child of mine. In Jesus' name, amen. Bye, Blanca. Okay. That's deep, bro. I like that one. It almost tells a story without telling the story. I told him. It is so hard to even read him. He tell the truth. Saying that stuff, is it not? Like, I don't know. I know you guys aren't reading it. You're just listening to it. But it's like, I know I'll see you again because I gave my life to the Lord. You know what? I'm sorry. I hope he never, ever, ever, ever has the opportunity to ever see them in this life or 20 other lives. You know what I mean? No matter what? Oh, okay. Yeah, the Lord put it on my heart to write, he explained, except that the Lord stole it from Guns N' Roses, I pointed out, and we both laughed at this. I was trying to lighten the mood. Laughter is the best remedy for depressing times. I am sure that was not the Lord's intention, Chris said as he stifled a laugh. I realized that he vented about his girls in the entry he wrote and read to me. People were going to see this soon, as it would be in the book I was publishing for us. How could he have murdered them in cold blood and write such a prayer? It was an enigma. Next, our doors popped open for day room. I stepped out, and on my left was Chris with a photo album. It just makes you wonder, like, is mentally how he's doing, right? Like, it is extremely frustrating. Hey, Teacup. This is my parents. This one here is my sister, he said, pointing to a photo of a pretty woman. He had her picture with the other ones on the page. She's sexy, bro, I admitted. Chris told me that lusting is a sin and all of that with it. He continued to show me pictures of his people. Like, I understand people change, but you can't help but wonder, like, think about him writing that poem. Like, I don't know. It just makes me wonder about how he's doing mentally. These are my daughters. This is the younger one, and this is the older one. This one here is my wife. He pointed to them in his photo album, half proud of them, as if he didn't kill them. He spoke about them as if they were still alive. You have a beautiful family, bro. I envy you. I said, actually half meaning it. He had truly had the perfect life with beautiful wife and kids, so that part I envied. I certainly did not envy the part where he killed them. Chris got on the phone and called his parents while I got on another phone to call Krista. I told her I would think about talking to her friend, Armchair Detective. I was also going to have Chris send her the manuscript because since we wrote all of it on my legal loan paper, if the CO saw it, then they might confiscate it. For almost 7 months, we put our mind, body, heart, and soul into those books. Krista promised to get it published. All she had to do was be my feet out there. If she let me guide her, then we could make all of this happen. I decided to trust her, so I gave Chris the manila envelope with her address on it. He had to be the one to send it out because I didn't have the funds on my account to do so. Unbelievable, you guys. Hey, Luana. He's doing pretty good, but yeah, surgery on Thursday. And thank you, guys. Thank you, Cray Cray. You guys are just the best. I know it's hard. This stuff is emotional, and sometimes it's, I don't know. It just can be tough, but I just appreciate you guys all being able to remain in one chat, all feeling different kinds of ways, and I really do appreciate every way that you feel. I think that they're all valid and interesting and important to talk about, so thank you for being here. And Meg, Dylan said he did have a lot of pictures in his cell. And do you guys remember at one point, people were trying to get his photos taken from him? Hey, Chicken Shite. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, on Thursday. What did I say? Did I say Tuesday? I can't. I'm so mentally focused on this. I'm sorry. It's almost like you go to another world for a little bit because there is just so much to this case. And I don't know, it just hits me in an emotional place, like unlike any other really. Well, besides Gannon's. I would guess that it eats him that he allowed himself to become entangled in a mistress and did something that changed the lives of others forever. Well, I mean, he had a pretty common life, right? And had a pretty normal life. He wasn't violent. He wasn't known to be angry. It's so what he did is just nothing like what his friends and family have described him to be like. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, good. It's okay. Do you think NK still sees Jim? Probably, but I don't know. Hey, Crime Crochet and Coffee. Good to see you. Okay, so now we're on. Oh, wait, we're about to start chapter 2, but there's one paragraph left. He says, after day room, we locked back in our cells, our cages. We were going to send out our book to be published soon, so I clung tightly to that hope. She would either keep her word or dash that hope to pieces. We had to have faith. We didn't have much choice. They say that time heals. In that case, I should have been in top condition. However, my arms were killing me on the preacher curl bar. Chris and I were working biceps and triceps. I weighed 165 to his 207, but I was lifting everything he could. I was still strong from all of my time in prison lifting weights. A lot of other inmates just stood around looking confused. Most of the crew on our unit had never been to prison before and didn't know how to use the weights. They watched and observed how we used them, and then they would attempt to imitate us. There was a big window that separated the guards from us, but they could, of course, watch our every move. I was waiting for my turn on the universal pull-down bar when this guy walked up to me and got close. He was almost in my bubble, staring me down. You have about 2.3 seconds to get out of my face and tuck your belly in before approaching me, I said to this pot-bellied biker-looking dude. Suddenly, Chris was beside the guy. Yeah, or I'm going to wrap this cord around your neck and let go, Chris threatened. Whoa, referring to the pull-down bar, hanging down loosely. The guy looked at both of us and walked away without saying a word. Wow. Yeah, or I'm going to wrap this cord around your neck and let go. That's just freaking scary. We scared him, bro, I nudged Chris. We both looked at each other and laughed. I didn't necessarily need his backup, but it was good having the knowledge that he had my back. It seemed as if Chris was getting a spine, finally. We finished our workout and walked back to our unit. drenched in sweat. The walk back down the long hallway of Dodge to Unit 11 seemed like miles away. My body was solid, though it felt like jelly now. When we got back to our cells, Chris decided he was going to do push-ups. That meant I had to do push-ups too, or he would be the one who outdid me in the workout for the day. After our workout, Chris and I both separately worked on our books we were writing. It was our God's Plan series. I felt led to write a poem called Who Can I Trust? It was for my book, Poetic Knowledge. I called Chris to the outlet and read him the poem. Who can I trust? When the enemy encloses around me, real life experience proves my flock will flee. Leaving me to those who wish me 6 foot deep. Who can I trust? I guard my heart and close the gates of my mouth to the one whose household was above my head. It began with Eve, to establish every unsaved soul, to inherit sin's reward with the dead, when the ones I put my life on the line for are not there for me, when I need them instead. People give me empty words with their lips, for they say and not do, and I'm misled. Who can I trust? In this time of greed, this time of deceit, this time of need, how about this time to give free? Everybody seems to have an ulterior motive if they act kindly. Way of Satan's seed. Will there be faith on earth when our Lord comes to collect debts unto thee? Who can I trust? I only put my trust in God and serve to the end until unto himself he comes to collect me eternally. I put my trust in God, in whom I can trust. In his glorious name, you all know it. Confess it, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen, Chris said. Little did I know then that 4 years later I would realize that I wrote that for him. Ooh, this got us talking about trusting those close to us. You know, that poem really hits close to home for me, he said. How so, I asked. He exhaled loudly, and with a sigh he admitted, I can't always trust my parents. Why not, I asked him. Because they talk to the media a lot, he said hesitantly. Wow. They sure do, though. Yeah, thanks, B. Crumbs is a streamer. That is not the first time that's happened. Thank you, Angie. They do, at one point, Chris's parents were mods for a YouTube channel that's now been taken down. So, they are, that's true. I understood this. There were certain things that he couldn't talk to them about, just in case they told those things to the media. Chris despised the media. There was nothing he hated more. Well, the media despises him. Is that all? I asked, trying to dig deeper. I just felt that there were more reasons than just that. Just things like trying to open the medical files that have been sealed on my daughters, he sighed yet again. Why have the medical files been sealed, I asked. Because of the DA and my wife's family, he replied. Is that all, I asked? I didn't really understand it. A couple small things, not really important to the subject of your poem. Just the fact that we can't fully trust anyone but God, he observed. I definitely concurred. This is a big point of contention for people who don't believe the case has been fully investigated, solved, all of that stuff. Why did he want the girls' records sealed? Why did he not want their medical? Because that was part of the plea deal, that they would seal the medical records of the girls. So many people wonder why. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. I appreciate that. What did you write, bro? I asked. Well, nothing really, just another prayer. Do you want to hear how it goes? Chris asked me. Of course, I replied. It's called Rescue Story. I started working on it in March, but decided to finish it. Check it out, he said, and began reading. I have backslidden. I am like sheep gone astray from the flock, and I have fallen into a pit. The snare of the enemy has entrapped me. The words of a harlot have brought me low. Now, we've seen this in Chris's handwriting as well. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know all her guests were in the chamber of death. Damn, I thought he was talking about the mistress. He continued reading, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. How did I not see it? How did I let this happen? The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and still I followed the perfume of a strange woman. He was talking about what he had with his family, his wife and 2 beautiful daughters. He was blind to it and only saw the mistress and sees it now, I thought. He continued to read the rest of what he had written. The web of the enemy squeezes around my heart and is cocooning my soul to the point of suffocation. The enemy and his Jezebel mock and scrouge. I don't know how to say that word. They mock me as they celebrate another capture. But that man would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. You, O Lord, did not leave me to captive or condemned. You heard the prayer of the destitute and of the prisoner appointed to death. You opened my eyes. You made my ears ready to perceive, and you said, come forth. The web of death loosened its grip, and I walked into the light of your presence. As I humbly kneeled before you, you said, go and sin no more. Your faith has made you whole, he finished. Bro, that's about your transformation, your testimony, I pointed out. I didn't speak of noticing everything he was venting about, but it had to do with escaping the death penalty. How he came to Christ when the filth of the world was heavy upon him. He kneeled and gave his life completely to God and felt his hand on him, he told me before. There was a lot more that I read into, but I let it be for now. People are going to be reading this with the microscope. They will learn stuff that they are looking for, sure. However, they will also receive something they're not searching for, and that is the message of Christ, Chris explained. It was actually a genius way of telling the truth about his case. He didn't want to come out and say it, rather give the message with a message. Genius. So Jamie did tell me that if you see all of the entries, so the book of their prayer, like devotional book, the one that had to be taken down from Amazon, it did sell several copies, I think just over 10. So there are some people who have this, and Jamie has one, and she said that if you read through Chris's parts, it does tell a story. If you know the case, it tells a story. So I would love to see that. I think that's really interesting. The truth shall set you free, right? I said, knowing this was going to be very interesting, he said. Okay, so you guys, we're on the next chapter. I want to do a giveaway. So I'm going to I had filmed a short video of the first book. Oh, and by the way, there's been a tie-dye giveaway on my Patreon. Everyone is going to receive one. I have 3 in my car ready to go. The day Bentley broke his arm, I had went to the post office, got the envelopes. I came back, packed them up, filled them out, ended up being at the hospital. So I hadn't got them out yet, and I'll get them out tomorrow is my plan. But I also want to do another giveaway here to one person of all of these books. I feel like after reading through them start to finish and making a short video on each book, I'm going to have one out on book 2 and 3 as well. Maybe I could give them to one of you guys. Now, there is highlighter in one of them because when I made my first video, I took notes in the book. But I mean, that's even more cool. It's kind of from me. And then I could maybe sign a little note inside or put a little card inside or something like that. So if you want to win one of or all of these books, I'll just give one person all 3 of them. After the live, leave a comment under the video. Don't forget to do that. I like highlighter. I love highlighter, Meg. Adrian says, I don't think Chris is doing well in prison. He just doesn't show it because it's his personality, in my opinion. So that is my plan. 11 copies sold, and I can account for 5 to 6 of them. Chris has one. Wow. Oh, sorry, Tess, I forgot. Let's see. 11 copies sold, and I can account for 5 to 6 of them. Chris has one. I would love to see one. But yeah, it's really interesting. Okay. So the next chapter. Tess, the hardest thing about prison is being away from your loved ones. The next thing that is hard is the time you have to do. Then it's location. So if you are doing life in a hard prison without any loved ones keeping you company and showing support, then you are hard timing. and I pretty much was hard timing. All I really had for support was Chris in the cell next door. He bought me stuff on a weekly basis. I had family, but they had their own struggles. So I was on my own as far as any type of support. However, on occasion, my mom would figure out a way to send me some money. My mom had been doing time with me since day one, so she will always be number one in my life. Waking up in a prison cell, most of my life was getting old. Chris was returning to his cell. I knew this because I heard his door close and then water running. I tapped on the wall and called him to the phone. At this point, to the phone, the electrical outlet in parentheses. At this point, we were just calling it a phone. Where did you just come from, bro? I asked Chris. He pulled a chair up by the outlet, so I grabbed my plastic chair as well. I just came from the business office, he told me. What the hell did they want? I asked. I was on the phone with some lawyers about signing my house over again. He was being asked to sign the house over to the victims' families. I kept him from signing it over at the time because there could be evidence yet to help his case. If he could hold off and get that private investigator Anna hired or anyone else to sweep the house, it may have been helpful. He needed new facts, new circumstances, and then he could possibly get out in 20 years instead of never. So what Chris, for instance, there was a lot of talk at one time that he was going to do a 35C. But with a 35C, you have to bring new evidence. It can't be something new that you found in the old discovery. It has to be completely new evidence that was just discovered. Okay. So he was never going to get that, but I think that's what Dylan is referring to there. He needed new stuff, new circumstances, new facts. Hey, Fragrant Anxiety. What did you tell them? I asked. Well, last time I told them I didn't have an envelope to send them, just the signed agreement. This time I just told them that I didn't want to, he explained. Chris was getting more and more of a spine. I'm impressed. This is good news. All we have to do is find you a lawyer and a private investigator, I told him. I know, but I have to give it to her family. It's the least I can do, he said. Damn straight it is, buddy. Oh, no. Mayla's mom, keep us posted. Throwing NK under the bus is new. That's true, but you know what, Grandma Sherry? That is something Chris did like a couple years ago. Dylan just never said anything. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, but I don't know. I have to find new words for the word interesting. I am aware I overuse it. Look, I'm awkward, weird, scattered, all the things. Just overlook me, okay? I'm doing my best. I try to keep words in my head for that, but no, they don't stick. It is what it is. Okay. I'm not saying keep the house, but I'm saying hold off on signing away your life. There could be some kind of evidence in there that could help your situation, I conveyed. He was silent, which meant he was contemplating what I had just said. Yeah, I need a lawyer. I won't sign it until I can figure out what I am doing, he decided. Thank you, Grandma Sherry. Fascinating, intriguing, curious. I have literally looked them up in a thesaurus, and they still don't stick, but I'm going to try just to let a couple. Intriguing should be easy, Okay. I need a lawyer. How much money do you think you and your wife made per year? I ask as I curve the conversation elsewhere. Her and I together, we made well over $100,000, he said. What did she do? I asked. She was pretty successful at selling Thrive. She was the breadwinner out of us, he admitted. What exactly did you do at work? I asked. I basically was the guy with the clipboard supervising, he informed me. I sort of envied him for that. I would love to have a chance to have that type of job. I just hope you get your chance at trial this time so you can go back to being that guy, I said. I'm still that guy, Chris said. He was right. He was still himself. Well, you haven't turned into what people are calling you, which is a monster. When we get out, I'll teach you what I'm really good at, he said. And what's that? I asked him. Fixing cars, he replied. I started to think, and it dawned on me that he had 5 life sentences plus 84 years. It's been 84 years. I'm sorry, the Titanic came to mind. Did he have that kind of faith where he believed he was getting out? Yes, I had instilled hope in him, but I didn't think he truly had this much hope. I don't know shit about cars. My brother is a mechanic. He's tried to teach me, and the information never sticks, I admitted. My brother would lose patience with me often because of my lack of car knowledge. When I would try to help, he would just tell me that I was in the way. Well, you're going to have to learn a trade. With all these hoes you're going to knock up, kids are expensive. My daughter's medical bills especially. Kids get sick a lot. Food, clothing, and they grow fast. Daycare, toys, and a lot of patience, he said, and I understood. Yeah, let's take parenting advice with Chris Watts. This is what he has to say. It's just like, bro. I was half kidding about knocking up hoes. I let him know. He just laughed. But you were half serious, so I gave you half of my advice, like never having a clean shirt without a stain because they have puked on all of them. Crying in the middle of the night, changing diapers, just getting out of a dead sleep. Are you ready for all of that? Chris asked me. Women change diapers. Us men come home from work and say, woman, dinner on the table now. I laughed as he stifled away a laugh while sighing. I was kidding. My wife would have killed me, dude, and I had a lot of responsibility with them, he said. Shanann ran the house. And that's okay. I've heard a lot of people that have bashed Shanann for that. Look, some women are assertive. Some women know what they want. Some women are sassy. And you know what? That's okay. Some people aren't. I'm the kind of person, I'm not going to be in a relationship that's not 50-50. I don't want to cook all the meals. I don't want to be the only one who cleans. I don't want to be the only one who takes care of the kids in the house and things like that. I prefer a relationship that is more, I do my share, you do your share. But, whatever. That's just me. Not that you guys care about what I do, but I'm just saying, like, I cannot imagine not being in a relationship with somebody who didn't help, having a newborn and the dad being there and him not changing some diapers. Oh, hell no, honey. You go and change some diapers too. Oh, thank you, Lynn. God bless you too. Yeah, it is, Tess. Jamie said, I agree. Word, Allie. Hey, Bo. Some men like being told what to do. Exactly. And you know what? That's okay. Some men are less assertive and they want that. Maybe everyone has different personalities. It is what it is and it's okay. I get really sick of hearing some of the things. If you watch people from the Watts Island community, you watch a lot of Watts videos, you will see people be really tough on Shanann for being assertive. And I don't like it. It pisses me off. I don't want to hear anybody blaming her in any way for any of this. She seemed like someone who really loved her kids, was trying to work, a normal person. None of us are perfect, right? So that's just the way I see it. Some men need to be told what to do. Just saying, yes, absolutely. Real Killer says, reminds me when I was on the inside, I wrote quite a few poems myself. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Real Killer. It should be a two-way street, as the boomers say. Mayla's mom, that's my thing with the kids and getting them to help, because I want it done right. Sometimes it's hard. It's more effort for me trying to fix what they mess up. Okay. I'm the one who does the books for the farm and buy equipment because I hate paying full price for farm equipment. Just saying. Angie, you are amazing. I love you. I'm sure you're a wonderful wife. Hey, Bendy. My name's Paul, and that's between y'all. Ain't that right? Hey, Katie. She's a good wife and mom. That's what matters. Hey, none of us are perfect. You know what I mean? So, okay. It sounds like you were we're almost done, you guys, by the way. It sounds like you were doing too much work and taking care of the kids, I said to Chris. When I came home from work, I would make food for them, play with them, bathe them, read them a bedtime story, and put them to bed. I did a lot with them some days, he expounded. He truly did sound like the perfect father and the perfect husband. And we saw that, right, in a lot of her videos. Because Shanann, Selling Thrive, was online a lot, we got to be right in their house with them, and watch them kind of perform these day-to-day chores and activities. Not that you're not going to be different a little bit with a camera watching. You might be, right? You might not, you might. But we did see that. We would see kind of Chris being the horse on all fours and all the kids on his, the girls on his back, climbing and riding and playing and dressed up as Santa Claus. And, Shanann telling, we saw a lot of that. Freaking sad. Justice through AZ says he was a doormat, in my honest opinion. So I love this, though. I love you guys having all different opinions and sharing them. When your partner leaves everything up to you, that's a quick way to breed deep resentment, and that is never interesting. That's so true, Patricia. You're so right. Yep, Jinlu, you and me are correct. Jamie says, I hate being in videos. Some men as empty-headed dipshits. Chris. I can't help but wonder what would be NK and CW life if, by some chance, he didn't get caught. I don't know when. It's interesting. What's her life now? Okay, I'm going to ask one of you guys to do me a huge, huge favor. So let me ask. I don't want all of the mods to do it because I know you guys are dropping links and stuff, but B Crumbs, can you do me a huge favor and grab Grandma Sherry's link and drop it? Because if you guys haven't checked out her channel, she's absolutely freaking precious. The man has me baffled. I cannot figure him out. Okay, let's continue. And thank you so much, B Crumbs. NK would be bossing him around. Duh. Hey, Jewelry Nurse. Hate me and my opinions, but I believe he probably was a good dad before he wasn't. I do too. What did she do? I questioned. Well, she was really busy with her job and everything it required. Some days she would do a lot with them too, he told me. I gotta ask, what went so wrong with y'all that you ended up straying with Nicole? I pressed and he paused for a few seconds. I started working out and brought my weight down to like 168. Women were noticing me and I met Nicole. She was just everything my wife wasn't, like with me. She was just nice and not a control freak. We could make decisions together. Wait, how long were you two together or messing around? I thought it was 5 weeks. I asked. This is an interesting thing, and I'm excited he put this in here because we've all speculated that they knew each other much longer than what they said. For one, she Googled them all, a year or two before this happened. So, Carolina, thank you for joining. Interesting. Let's see what he said. Thank you so much, B Crumbs. You guys, please check it out. Check out all the channels. Let me check Bendy's text though real quick, and then we'll continue. Awesome. Okay, so I know Melissa has a live at 7:30, you guys, and then I know Jen's coming on at like 9 or 9:30. Let us know, Jen. And there is a lot of new stuff with Sarah Boone. I think you guys will be excited to see that. Okay. I started working out and brought my weight down to 168. Women were noticing me, and I met Nicole. She was just everything my wife wasn't. Nice and not a control freak, and we could make decisions together. Wait, how long were you two together or messing around? I thought it was 5 weeks, I asked. We knew each other for a while, but we didn't start messing around until 6 weeks before. Yeah, I was not thinking. We knew each other for a while. We worked together, we had chemistry, and I fell into temptation. Kind of like in the Garden of Eden, I compared. She was the forbidden fruit, he admitted. So how did she not get wrapped up in any of this, I asked him. Well, there are some complications with that, he said. Like what, I asked. It took him a while to respond. Well, He says well and pauses a lot before he reveals something that's hard for him to say. Yeah, because he has no courage, no guts, no balls. He's just cowardly, in my opinion. Oh, B Crumbs, thank you. Thank you so much, and welcome to the members. Oh, I appreciate that. That was sweet. Thank you. Super sweet. She didn't exactly do much to incriminate herself, Chris admitted. I don't think I want to know, bro. I really don't. I didn't want my opinion of him to change. If he told me what I thought he was going to tell me, how could he murder his girls in cold blood? It just made no sense at all. These little girls were 3 and 4 years old. They loved him and he loved them. Just know it wasn't my hand actually doing it, he managed to say. Okay, Chris, we don't believe a word you say. He told me that before, and I still couldn't comprehend what he meant by it. The traps on our doors were being popped out for dinner. Time to eat. That's all I managed to mutter to him. All right, you guys, this book is almost over. We're just about to the end of this series. We've made it through 3 books together. I can't believe it, but there is a video I would like to show you guys. Let me see. This is heartbreaking and devastating, so just be warned. But this is why I feel so angry hearing some of the things Chris has to say here. It's just, Hold on. Okay. This is Bella. Bella is the oldest daughter of Chris and Shanann.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books. He ties my shoes. If you're a hero, blue and blue, my daddy, I love you. Oh
my God, you guys, that physically hurts my heart. Like, makes you cry, man. It's just sad. Freaking sad. These little girls thought the world of their daddy. Okay? You know how kids are. They love us, you know? Scott says if NK was involved, the police would have charged her. They'd have no reason to protect her. For him to try to ruin her life from behind bars is disgusting. So for me, you know, I do wonder because they have admitted they didn't finish the investigation, and we can see multiple instances of her trying to kind of get in the way of that investigation. So I have a lot of questions, but, you know, I kind of think he needs to just suck it up and keep to himself and go on. But yeah, that is, God almighty, that was so heartbreaking. Aussie thinks that, hey Aussie, Maggie thinks that NK was involved. Oh, thank you, Grandma Sherry. Chicken Shite says she got away with it. Let it go. Listen, if he truly feels like she was in, you know, I agree too, because he had a point where he could have said something. He pled guilty, and he sat there like a coward. He is like he's like Taylor Swift says, the smallest man who ever lived. So I don't know about that, Jen. I've thought about that too, because it does seem like a plausible theory and kind of the most simplest, you know, Occam's razor, that kind of thing. But then again, I'm like, there are other things that just don't add up to me. Now, I'm not saying I think that she did it. Is it possible she was there, helped cover it up? I don't know. I change my opinion all the time, but currently I would lean towards her kind of helping cover it up. Even why were they 3-way calling when he would call the detectives to talk about the status of the investigation and them being missing? Why 3-way call with her? There's just too many things that do not sit right with me. Lynn, I did link the books in the description, and I'm doing a giveaway. So if you want to, I love that song, Jamie. If you want to have a chance to win these, I can ship them straight to you. You do have to give me an address to send them to. I'm going to be giving one of you guys all 3 of these books. I feel like if we had gotten more of the discovery, more things would make sense. Absolutely. Okay. I put the Amazon link in the description. I always I want to make sure it's easy for you guys to access what I'm talking about when it comes to stuff like this, whether it's an article we're going over, I'll let you know where it's from, show you where it's from, that kind of thing, or a book, whatever. But yeah, I linked it in the description. Hopefully they're correct. I didn't have time to check the 3rd link. I just grabbed it and put it in there. So if you have an issue, let me know. But you can search by name The Cell Next Door on Amazon. All right, we're almost done. Let's get through this. I know, Mrs. M, that's weird. I agree. It's just weird. Like for your missing wife and kids, I don't know. Okay, so let's listen to the end. It's going to be pretty quick. That's what I do, Grandma Sherry. That's what I was doing with this. Life is simply just one big classroom. If you don't pay attention, you fail. I had failed at life thus far. However, I was bringing my grades back up. Chris and I were at a service in the chapel. He was soaking up every word that the pastor spoke. The pastor's words were going in one ear and out the other for me, though. Usually I paid attention, but I had the weight of the world crushing me. My status was still Department of Community Corrections. I didn't even have a court date scheduled. My situation was hopeless. Then again, my situation could never get worse than the man on my left, Chris, or the man on my right, Pete. They were both in worse situations than me by far. I looked to my left at Chris. How could he be at such peace with his family dead and serving life in prison for their murders? I was going home eventually, and still I could not find that peace. That's because he's not like us. Like most people couldn't. I think that would drive anyone insane. If something happened to my children, much less. Like it would never happen. But if you were responsible, either solely or partly, it is very bizarre how he's so chill about it. But I do want to say, Chris, in jail, we've seen Letitia do it. He can absolutely file civil lawsuits. If he felt like anything was in these books was untrue, unfair, whatever, he could do that. I don't see that happening, but and I'm sure Dylan knows that too, right? Because it's just the facts. In order to sue someone for defamation, though, it has to be a lie. So anyway, I think that's interesting. I would unalive myself at that point. Yeah. Oh, I saw that, Patricia. That's in your area. Oh my God. Oh, that is awful. All right, you guys, we're almost done. Let me get through this. I could not get comfortable. If you could pack all of your stuff and be ready to move in less than 60 seconds, then you were not comfortable. You weren't cozy in prison like the majority of inmates. The complacency of those around me kept me from becoming just like them. I did not want to become yet another statistic. The walls around me, the fences, the ignorance of the majority, they all motivated me to strive to be better. If there was one person that got me, it was Chris. He didn't see me how most judgmental individuals did. We kept it strictly Matthew 7:1-2. Do not be judged so that you will not be judged. For in the way you judge, you will be judged. And by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you. So you get back what you put out, which kept us on our toes. Before I knew it, we were ending the service in prayer. I said my own prayer to God and asked that he guide me on my path that is better than being in fetters. I asked that the Lord give me the peace he had bestowed upon Chris and also Pete. The Lord must have bypassed me with serene peace because my entire life has been war. How could I obtain a feeling that I had never known? I left my prayer up to God while I suffered the consequences of being on the wrong side of the law. That's freaking sad. The one thing I clung to was hope. Hope was the one thing that encompassed me to walk the path of a square. I wanted to live the normal Christian life, but I was the definition of the direct opposite of the normal Christian life. I tried to shake the thug from myself. However, it was who I was, and I had to learn to contain it. I was not very civilized. I lived my entire life on the edge, and I wasn't going to fall off yet. My mind was on the path of a normal Christian life, but my heart was stuck in the trenches. I tried to fit into society. I tried to fit in while in prison, though I tried to fit in everywhere, and I didn't fit in anywhere. Jesus said to his disciples that they were not of this world. That being said, I was part of a bigger picture. Paul said, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I will know fully, just as I also have been fully known." So I knew my purpose in part, and apparently I wouldn't have the damn answers until I saw God. Prayer ended. Everyone said amen, as did I. Walking back to Unit 11, Pete was talking to me and trying to instill some sense into me. "Brother, you have the spirit, a good heart, great character, nice looks, and you're smarter than most guys in here. You have a book out and you're getting out. You're going home, about to be laid up with your woman, just living the life that I may never get to experience again if my appeal doesn't help." Every word he said hit home and made me feel like somebody again. Always felt like the scum of the earth. I felt low, like the bottom of people's shoes, an animal. "I pray your appeal is successful, Pete. You deserve freedom more than I do," I said. Appeals were the one thing that gave guys hope. However, the success rate of a criminal appeal is 5%. There's a 95% chance that anyone who feels they were wrongly convicted will fail at their appeal. I knew this as I walked down the hall. "You absolutely deserve this. You have done all of this time because of 1.5 grams of cocaine and burglary while armed. You weren't armed and nothing was taken," Pete said, smoothing his braids back. He was about 49 years old and had been in prison for 20 years. The people ripped me off earlier that day. I just came to get my money and I was let into the residence. I knew them and we were just having friendly conversation. They let us wait until the occupant of the apartment arrived. Well, the SWAT team arrived and we went to jail. I took a plea, 5 years probation and 6 months withheld. It was explained to me that if my probation was revoked, I would serve that 6 months. The following year, I was in a position where I was told that if I didn't sign my revocation papers, the feds would pick up the gun charges that I beat. There wasn't enough evidence to bound me over for trial. I was told I would only do 6 months. I ended up with 17 years. 7 years initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision. I was coming up on 12 years of that in prison. I was railroaded by a flawed system. In 2008, the lawyer that represented me was drunk half the time, and that is on the record. I had been setting my entire adult life behind bars. Life is a struggle. However, healed wounds is progress. "You guys better hurry up. The guards are watching you walk so slow that it doesn't even look like you're moving," Chris told me and Pete. "Okay, brother, thank you. I'll see you at the next service. Keep your head up and tune into your spirit because you got it," Pete instructed. Why couldn't everybody be as nice as Pete? Why couldn't everybody be as humble as Chris? Though they were both in for some heinous crimes, I still looked at them as people. Returning to our cells was my least favorite thing in prison. I wanted freedom, fresh air, and sunshine. I wanted to be free from confinement. We closed ourselves into our cells for the rest of the night, and Chris slid another writing through my door before locking in. I, of course, grabbed it and looked at it. The lighting was dim due to nighttime creeping up. In this particular entry, he focused on Jezebel yet again. I noticed the part that said, "Surely there was no one like Ahab, who sold himself to do evil in the sight of the Lord, because Jezebel, his wife, incited him." I knocked on the wall and waited for a response. "Yeah," Chris answered. "I love the entry you wrote. However, I noticed the part about Jezebel, how she incited the king to do evil. I feel like this one is personal," I pointed out. It also hit home with me. You guys. I, too, have been incited by women to do evil in the sight of the Lord. There is a proverb that describes her. Look up Proverbs 7:21-23. Chris said, "It was getting muggy in my cell and I was wishing I had a fan to cool off." I obliged and looked up Proverbs 21:23. With her many persuasions, she entices him. With her flattering lips, she seduces him. Suddenly, he follows her as an ox goes to the slaughter, or as one in fetters to the discipline of a fool, until an arrow pierces through his liver, as a bird hastens to the snare. So he does not know that it will cost him his life. This was one of many scriptures he used to describe this woman. This is about your Jezebel, I shouted, a little too loudly for my own taste. Chris said she was the death of me. However, I have been born again, and God put me here for his own plans. Why would he want you in this foul place? I couldn't help but question him. Oh, Chris says Christians lived under persecution. Oh my God, that's true, Chris, but no, you're there because of what you did. Come on, bro. We're not being persecuted. We're being prosecuted, and not for the gospel. We are, at best, the criminals on the cross next to Jesus, I replied, causing him to go silent for a moment. Thank you, Dylan. True. Well, Jesus came for individuals as ourselves. The first disciples were tax collectors, a murderer, and a prostitute. They were all sinners. He didn't come to call the righteous. He came to call sinners to repentance. He conveyed, I understood that, perhaps more than anyone. However, I don't think that God intended for him to kill his pregnant wife and children. It didn't sound like he intended to either. I didn't hear drug dealer on your list of saints, I pointed out to him jokingly. Oh yeah, you're on the top of that list, he said. So where are you on the list? I asked Chris. I could have probably heard a pin drop from how silent he became at that moment. I thought he had vacated the conversation with the delay in his response. I would be considered as the likes of Barabbas, Chris admitted. He was a murderer that was held before the crowd with Jesus, and Pilate offered to release him or Jesus. No, knock it off. He was a murderer. Dude, you were not. You didn't mean to kill your wife, I said, not even thinking of the children. I was closing my eyes to the facts. I didn't even want to know anymore. I loved Chris like a brother, and I didn't want to look at him the way everyone else did. He was a great guy. He was too humble and down to earth. He cared about others. There wasn't a criminal bone in his body. This is what drew me to him and formed our friendship. He was different from what I was used to. You deserve to know. You're my spiritual twin, he said. I was sure if I actually wanted to know. Some people say that you are the company you keep. If this is true, did we click because we're both of evil spirits? No, that was nonsense. Get it off your chest, I said, allowing him to tell me more of his story. So here we go, and then this is the end. Nicole kept saying not to go to the police, not yet, and to lay low. She told me she would marry me. We would sell the house and everything and move. I told her that my older daughter saw enough to incriminate us or incriminate me. I told her that my wife's body was still in the house. She held me tight, told me not to worry. She said she would send somebody to get it and bring it to work like nothing happened. She held me and told me that it would be just the two of us. She kissed me and made me feel like I couldn't lose her. I would do anything for her. He stopped, took a deep breath, and exhaled. I thought I knew where this was going. I really didn't want to know. I also knew the power of love and deception. This hurts my chest, you guys, even reading this. Okay, we're almost done, so I'm going to try not to stop till the end because, okay. This is what I meant when I told you that she made me choose between my family or her. The girls were what was left of my family. I chose her, he confessed. The wiles of love make people do some of the worst things. So who killed the girls? I asked the question of questions. I told you that it wasn't my hand doing it. I can't remember a lot. It was like I was possessed. You know how Jezebel ordered King Ahab to kill Naboth for his vineyard? Chris asked me. I am very familiar with 1 Kings, I replied. I knew it. She convinced him to kill his daughters. I saw myself doing it, but it's like it wasn't me. Though I was numb and on autopilot, I couldn't hurt them, so I just stopped them both from breathing, Chris managed to say. Wow. I couldn't imagine being in such a position and doing such a thing. He had just called me his spiritual twin. I wasn't sure that I was. Then I remembered the words of Jesus where he says to forgive those of their transgressions. I wasn't the one Chris needed to ask for forgiveness. I stayed on neutral ground in this case, he says. So I questioned, she helped you with your wife's body? I really don't want to take anyone down with me. I did it. She captivated me with her smooth words dripping honey in Proverbs 5.3 through 5. She sold me a dream and brought me a nightmare. She only helped with the order for me to kill the like King Ahab. As far as hiding them, she helped me, he admitted to me. You need to start guiding your heart because that is way overboard. What did she do when you got arrested? I asked Chris. She did not go to work. She didn't clock into work that morning. That is the truth. She pretended to be clueless, he said with a sigh. Where is she now? She don't give a fuck about you. As soon as you got caught up, she bailed. On to the next. Where is she right now? I pushed for an answer. Nobody has heard from her or of her, he said flatly. She's in hiding in case she ends up incriminated in this mess, I informed him. All he managed to say was, yeah. So what are we going to do? I asked. We are going to get our book published, and then people will find the truth within the truth. The job is done, Chris assured me with confidence. Epilogue. A lot of them, Melanie, do. A lot of prisoners, I think it's because maybe they have nothing left, and it offers them a little bit of hope. I'm not sure. One second. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Bag, and then Rob. Thank you. Okay, here's the epilogue really quick, you guys. Endings are not always the happiest, especially when I'm in them. The heart of a man can be an atom bomb and do damage if the wrong woman is pulling the strings. When we look back on our behavior in a relationship, we often ask ourselves, what in the hell was I thinking? No, it's what were we feeling? Love. Love can be a happy ending for some. Love can also destroy people, and in this case, a pregnant woman and 2 young children. My whole life I've been in prison, and I've learned to overlook the flaws of others. It was hard to overlook what Chris had done. It was also hard to write this story. It hits close to home because it is my story. I am in this true crime story because of Chris's case. He has been a brother to me for years. Writing this book was basically me reliving things that I've tried to leave in the past. I've decided to end part 3 where I did, but the story will go on. Oh. The next books will have all of the drama, the betrayal and the lies, the secrets, media storm, my second imprisonment with Chris, and last but not least, the complications with the books we wrote. The real will be separated from the fact. There will also be a few more facts about the case. Interesting. So I'm interested. I'm more interested to know about all of that. The media storm, the books falling apart, all of that. The case, I feel like, I think these 3 books kind of wrapped up. It's hard to keep talking about that. It's painful. We're going to close out with Bella. That's what I want to close it with because that's what it's about. But, I am interested to hear about dealing with social media, dealing with different PIs, dealing with, what else does it say? Betrayal, lies, all of those things. He says, I hope readers were able to see Chris in a different light. Through the struggles, Chris and I clicked up and were very productive. Our mission was to release our God's Plan series until he suddenly changed his mind. He changed his mind because he told the story of his case through Scripture. Chris gave 2 messages. First being the gospel of Jesus Christ, the second being the facts of his case. I bring to life the story behind all of this. I also bring to life the story of this case, according to Chris. Until next time, Dylan Tallmen. Wow, you guys. Oh my God. I don't even know how to feel. I went into this thinking, I hope this is the last book on this stuff. I want to, I think Dylan's going to continue to write, and I hope that he does. I think that, like I said at the beginning, it could be a really awesome way to earn an honest living and make your way into a life in recovery. And but now I'm curious. I am curious to know and see it written what exactly happened with the book falling apart, because we know a lot of that. They answered a lot of our questions, but also the media and that kind of stuff. I'm sure the betrayal. Oh, okay, Jamie, interesting. I'm sure the betrayal would be with the book first, because remember he sent it to Krista. Maybe, I don't know. That's just kind of the way I think of it. Hey, Dylan. Dylan said hello, everybody. So interesting. Oh my God, that ended in such a way. It ended good, but it's emotional. Like I don't know. It just makes me so sad for those babies. And it's interesting to see somebody who's like, I've been in jail all of my life, and in order to survive, you have to overlook some things about the people around you, right? Because just to even have friends to talk to or anything, it would be very hard to overlook what Chris did. Let's be real here. He claimed he killed the girls twice, but he killed his pregnant wife, his 2 babies, and then he put them in those batteries, these tanks of oil with an 8-inch in diameter hole that they could barely fit through, and they had to be basically forced through. Separate tanks, for whatever reason. Threw Shanann out in the dirt somewhere. I mean, oh God, it's just an emotional process. These books, it's hard on the heart. How are you guys feeling? Grandma Sherry, hard on your heart too. Well, Dylan's not speaking to Chris. I know that. What better way to look like a good person than through religion? He really believes he can worm his way out in the end. Thank you, Boho Hobo. He's spreading Chris's insinuations that harm NK, such a horrible case, and because of the depth of wrong, it holds all of our attention. Oh, I don't think they were lovers at all. I mean, it did look like it, though, at first. Like when the first news, like all the news broke about what was found in the cell, I could see why people thought that. But after hearing the explanation from Dylan and knowing that he couldn't purchase his own things and stuff like that, that makes sense to me. Oh, yeah, Cray Cray is loved here. I don't know what's going on. Let's not argue. I don't want to do that, you guys. Let's just try to respect each other's different opinions and kind of move on from that. If you guys want to win these books in my giveaway, I'm going to do a giveaway of all 3 books. Please leave a comment under the video. Man, you guys. Oh, Homer, it is truly a blessing to be linked up with all of you. I'm very thankful to be part of this community. I'm so thankful that you're part of this community too. That's so sweet, Homer. I'm glad that you're here. Oh my goodness. So Melissa has a live in just a minute. We want to go support her. Bindi has a live tonight at 9. I want to support that. I don't know if Amber's on. I've missed that. We got lots of other things to talk about, but with Bentley having surgery on Thursday, I don't know. I'm going to try to come on tomorrow. We'll be prepping for that and stuff. Bindi and I have some things we want to do and other things. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'll definitely be sharing. I did post a video today on my second channel, a short that I would love for you guys to check out. I'm going to share just different experiences there. Food, makeup, all the things. Like I said, consumerism, politics, conspiracies, everything, makeup, perfume, the things that I love. So if you're into that stuff, go check that out. And yeah. Oh, Cray Cray, don't be upset. We love you. I don't know what happened. I understand everybody has different opinions. It's okay. Let's just try to move on after this, okay? You guys are welcome to have any opinions that you want. I just want you guys to try to be kind to each other, expressing them. That's all. Okay. Thank you, Johnny. You guys are so sweet. Oh, my Nay, I love you too. 30 minutes. Holy moly. Hey, Penny Scott. I don't know what happened. The mods here are excellent. So I'm sure we can work it out if we all just try to be calm and, move along. But I want to end with Bella because this is important. This is what matters. This is what this is about. We can get caught up in some of the details of this, especially the mistress and all the things. And at the end of the day, these beautiful babies trusted their daddy, loved their daddy, and he betrayed them. in the absolute worst way possible. There is nothing that he could say or do that makes me think that he should get any kind of break or any less blame. You cannot blame anyone else. He is a grown man, and he decided to do what he did. I'm sure other people can be bad too. But at the end of the day, it's on him. And there is nothing that he can say or do that will ever make me feel any bit of empathy, remorse, sadness, anything for him besides absolute disgust and misunderstanding. So that's how I feel. Let's wrap it up with this. Let me check the comments for a second. MK, I tried to get calmed down. I feel like I need a timeout. Let's see. Okay, Homer. Yeah, let's just try to, I don't know what happened, but I love the mods and I love the chatters. And you know what? Sometimes we get emotional and we can be jerks as I can be a jerk. I don't know who was a jerk, if anybody was, maybe they weren't, but let's just try to move on and keep it pushing, because like I said, this is what's most important. We're going to play this. I'm going to let you guys go after it ends and see you over at Melissa Jade's. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great night. Okay. There is no redemption for Chris Watts. Absolutely. Thank you, Mayla's mom. Don't forget, if you want to win the giveaway, leave a comment. Okay. Puts a hand up. I'm the biggest jerk. I need a timeout. Same, especially when it's something I can get emotional about, so it is what it is. Allie Rally over there. Okay, let's go. All right, Mayla's mom. Ooh, let me know what happened. Thank you, Rusty, for being here. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Jamie, for being so open and honest and willing to answer our questions. And also send our thank yous to Dylan as well for being willing to answer. I just really appreciate you, Jamie, and you've been so easy to communicate with and stuff, so thank you so much. Okay, love you back, Patricia. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Let's end with this. This is, again, it is really hard to watch, but like I said, it's important. All right, you guys, love you. Have a good night. Hold on. Let's read.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books. He ties my shoes. If you're a hero, blue and blue, my daddy, I love you. Oh, I love my daddy, I love you.
Trying to get her smiling. The most precious little baby. All right, you guys. Hope you feel better, Jamie. Bye, guys. See you over at Melissa's.